And then the summary comments where I kind of say, so what do you do with all this information? The Wall Street Journal today wrote an article that sounds as if it was written by somebody who has heard any one of my talks. The headline is, "Stop me before I do something stupid," which is how most people run their money. So I'm going to sum up with a few things here because it is exactly, I think, the challenge that most people have in investing, particularly individuals. But before we go there, let me, as somebody I've actually been at Russell for a third of our existence. So we're a company that's about 75 years old. Let me give you 5 minutes on what Russell is. We do not make chocolate. We do not make t-shirts. So if you thought you were going to get a cool handout or a giveaway, sorry, that's not us. But usually the third area that comes up is, well, are you the index guys? Are you that Russell 2000 ticker that I see on CNBC or other networks? Now you're in the ballpark. That is us. But that's a small part of what we do. That's about 100 people out of 1,800 folks worldwide that work in our index business. Let's talk about the main businesses and really how we got started. Company, as I said, started 75 years ago by Frank Russell. The reason why we are headquartered in the Northwest is the Russell family is from, it's the audience participation part, Washington. We're from the Northwest. So that's why we're there. Most of our offices are in cities that you would expect. We're in New York, London, Toronto, Tokyo, Australia. It's much easier to do research on a global basis if you actually have offices where most of the investment managers work, and that's where they work. Headquartered in the Northwest for many years in Tacoma, Washington, and more recently in Seattle because that's where the Russell family is from. And in fact, George, the family foundation, is now in Gig Harbor, Washington, a suburb of Tacoma, which is where I live. So Frank starts the business 75 years ago, bond mutual fund company, not really differentiated from any other. Grandson George joins in 1958 out of grad school, works with Grandpa for a decade. Grandpa passes away. George has a decision to make. Himself and a handful of employees. 1969, he wants to take the firm in a completely different direction. George had a vision. George was an entrepreneur, and he wanted to consult to the largest pools of money at that time, large defined benefit plans located in the United States. He wanted to give them advice. He wanted to help them pick the right people to run their investments, allocate the money in a way that he thought made sense. Was probably the first advocate of telling people, you know, you're not really diversified if you have 60% of your money in U.S. stocks and 40% of your money in U.S. fixed income. You might want to have a little bit more international. You're going to hear the international kind of flavor to my comments as they move on. So that's what George wanted to do. First client, JCPenney, their defined benefit plan. Joins, understands George's vision, and is willing to become the first client. Still a client today. We've added a few along the way. I see Boeing on the wall here. I know Boeing has a nice presence here. Obviously, a Northwest company, literally right down the road from us. Boeing is a client for us on the institutional side. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is a client now. Certainly wasn't back then because there wasn't a Microsoft, so there wasn't a stock, but a rather large foundation now that we consult to. Caterpillar, Delta Airlines, United Airlines, the list kind of goes on, and now it's much more global in nature as well. So somewhere between $1.5 trillion and $2 trillion, depending on what markets are doing, we consult to and we provide that advice to our institutional clients. That's what put us on the map. Along the way, again, we started the index business. We have a very large trading operation, not a proprietary trading operation that you hear about in the press all the time, but we do a lot of trading on behalf of our large clients as they move assets around and as they hire and fire managers many times at our recommendation. That big operation is located on the 15th floor of our headquarters up in Seattle. The other business, which is where you come into play, is as time went on, smaller institutions, foundations, as well as individuals said, look, I'm not a large defined benefit plan. I'm not concerned about the retirees of thousands of folks, but I am concerned about the retirees of my employees. If I'm a smaller firm or if I'm an individual, 1 or 2 people. So we set up our own funds, and our funds look very similar to the recommendations and the asset allocation that we recommend to those large pools of money around the world. But the difference is that we make the decisions on what managers should get hired and fired, where on a consulting basis our clients make those decisions. And we offer those to individuals. So I think what makes us a little bit unique is you can't pick up the phone and call 1-800-RUSSEL, talk to somebody who's been in the business, who knows, anywhere between 20 minutes and 20 years, our approach, and it is a little bit different. We'd like to win tomorrow, the next day, the next quarter, but we're all about, you got to win whenever your retirement is down the road. That's the date that matters, not today, not tomorrow, not next month. Of course, the media is completely designed to have you win today, tomorrow, and next month. They don't really think much longer term than that. So we are much more of an institutional solution for individuals.